we're going to recap the books that we read in March. Because we forgot to talk about it last month, so you're getting it now.
Happy Cinco de Mayo. Here's what we read in March. Yeah, so in March I read 9 books.
And I read 5.
The first thing I read was A Night Without Armor, which is Jules' poetry collection. It was what you would expect of Jules' poetry collection. Poignant, good. Not life-changing, but worth a read.
Right, and somebody who had read it before really liked it. They had underlined a lot in her book.
They did. It read very much as though a high school child going through some heartbreak had read it before me. So I got tickled by all the annotations.
Let's see, the next one that she has on her list is the first on my list. We read it together. It's The Poisonwood Bible by Barbara Kingsolver. We did another video on it, so you can kind of go back and watch that. I thought it was very good.
It was. Yeah. It was a little hard to get into, but once you were in it, it was definitely worth the work. I read The Mothers by Britt Bennett. This one was really good, just realistic fiction. It was kind of a nice palate cleanser. I read it all, I think, in a day. I really enjoyed it. Definitely hit me really hard. I cried in like chapter 1, and I rarely cry when I read.
I read a collection of short stories called Vampires in Lemon Grove by Karen Russell. I saw it on a list of books that was recommended for good short reads. They were really interesting. There were a couple spooky ones, some silly stuff, some magical realism. I really enjoyed it.
That's pretty out of character for you to grab to read. Was it a nice change?
It was, yeah.
I read Time is a Mother. That was another poetry collection. I think you read about half of that one by Ocean Byung.
Let's see. Next was Mage's Blood by David Hare. I've had these books pushed me on Scribd a lot, and it was okay.
I read Just the Nicest Couple by Mary Kubica, and that is one of those like hot thrillers. It was very mediocre. I saw the ending coming. It was fine. I saw the ending coming. It wasn't life-shattering, but it was a decent thriller. Again, I read it in like 2 or 3 hours. It was a nice just sit down and jam it out kind of.
Another TikTok recommendation was The Lies of Locke Lamora. There's a bunch of fantasy series that are supposed to be like some really good ones that I haven't read that I keep getting pushed. It's quite good. It's very different. There's not a whole lot of magic in it. It's mostly about like a thief and they're kind of pulling heists and stuff. But it's set in a fantasy world. It's pretty good.
I read number 4 in that Dark Olympus series that I had accidentally started.
Her new favorite genre.
No. So Radiant Sin. I was over it, very over it by number 4, but you gotta see it through, right?
Storygraph tells her it's her favorite.
It says it's my second favorite, but it's wrong.
No, I think it's right.
I read Three Sisters, Three Queens because I really was feeling in a slump and I wanted something that was gonna feel like the other Boleyn girl, but not be the other Boleyn girl. So I picked a random Philippa Gregory novel, and it did scratch that itch. So.
And the next one I read was Pet Sematary by Stephen King, which was in a list of his scariest novels, and I tend to agree. It's quite disturbing. And his foreword in the book, he talks about how when he tells people when they ask him what book scares him the most, it's that one. And it's not particularly because of the horror in it, but because of the things that parents will do. And it maybe hits a little too close to home. It's scary.
The last 2 for March were The Honeys by Ryan LaSala. That was a very campy, kind of YA horror. Literally campy. It was set at summer camp. I liked it a lot. I wasn't obsessed with it like I thought I was going to be. And my last book for March was The Cruel Prince by Holly Black, and that is the first book in the Folk of Air series. I really liked this. Fairy fantasy. Apparently I love it. I didn't realize, but I'm not really surprised. So